Hello YouTube. I'm going to show you something. I don't do it a lot, so haven't really had a video that I remember. Actually, the last time I did this, it was actually for this same customer, same kind of truck, except it was a crew cab, and it was a super busy day, and I just needed to bang out the truck, and so I didn't really feel like pulling everything apart. But that is tucking window tint. I don't like to do it. I think a lot of times you end up fighting with things more than it actually saves any time or effort. But if it works right, it takes a few steps out of tinting. And basically, instead of, if you watch my other videos, these newer GM trucks, I'll usually pop off the door panel. Got a couple screws there, a couple screws behind here, a couple on the bottom. But I don't know, maybe I'm feeling lazy today. Or, I mean, this is one I can usually tuck with pretty decent results. And so we're gonna do it. Figure I'd shoot a video. The other side worked out good, so hopefully this side works out good too. You see I'm using this blue scrubby the guy who scammed me left behind the day that he worked here, 2 days that he worked here. And it was just handy, so deciding if I like that blue scrubby or not. Not too bad. So this truck is super dirty, and that's what it's like. Well, I don't know, I probably should have pulled the door panels, but if I'm very careful and methodical, I don't know if you can see the mud just coming out of these sweeps. Look at this. Let's see. Look at that. Can you see that? That's all mud, dirt. It's a work truck, but we want to try to get a good amount of it out, only because when we go to tuck it, we don't want the water bringing stuff back in. And so I'm just gonna do this a few times until the towel comes out mostly clean. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I might call that good enough. And then it takes a little bit of water management, just making sure that you keep as little bit of water coming from the sides into the middle, because that'll bring dirt with it, and trying to flush the dirt to the outsides. A little bit of squeegee technique to also kind of keep the dirt that gets suspended in the water from coming into the middle of the tint. The other thing you got to be mindful of is how much you're manipulating the film, because otherwise you'll end up with some creases. If you can get some like light creases and just heat gun it and hard card them down, usually you won't notice them. I'll notice them, but most people won't notice them. Sometimes if you are too rough with it, you'll get multiple creases on the sides, and then that always just looks like shit. So what we're gonna do, so we squeegee everything real good. Try not to put a lot of water on the felt on the bottom, because it'll just have dirt floating around in it. So I usually try not to spray down there too much, just to try to keep the water from a bunch of dirty water just floating there. And then peel this back. What we're gonna do, just leave a few inches, wet your tint real good. I like to fold this over just to kind of keep it a little bit shorter and out of the way. And let's go put this on. So what we're gonna try to do, we wanna slip this back, but we don't want to get too hard of a buckle on that. Just try to keep it, so I don't know if you can see, it's almost like in a V. Try to keep it as light of an angle as possible, because that'll keep down your creasing. From there, just squeegee like the top. Don't squeegee down there quite yet. Just squeegee the top part so we can get it tacked down in position. Also, try not to shove it too deep into one side or the other. Kind of the same thing. You get it too deep in there, it's gonna crease. So let's get it tacked down, and then we'll do the tuck. Hey Mike, do you prefer tucked or untucked? Personally, I prefer untucked. They get dirty when you tuck them. Alright, that should be good there. Let's give it, now that it's kind of tacked down, we'll give it one more kind of hard squeegee up top, just to make sure all of the water's out. Okay, and then see, I definitely won't have a crease there. I might have a little bit of one there. Now we're gonna try to pull it back, but we're not gonna lift it, because if we lift it too much, it's gonna suck that water right in from the sides. So what I try to do is I'll lift it out here in the middle and just kind of get this back, try to start getting that angle out, and then rinse up and away to try to push any water and dirt that had just been resting there off to the sides. We'll also want to do the same thing on the tint. I find this works best if you get both the glass and the tint very wet. And then go ahead and just walk this along. Get this lined up right here with the felt. Now I did cut these pretty much dead even with the felt on the outside, so that there's not a lot that I have to tuck on the inside, but we'll have a little bit. Just slip your hard card in there or something, and come here, baby. All right, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully, we're just gonna walk that in to that bottom sweep so that it's behind it. Now, so this, we have it on, shouldn't really be, there might be a tiny little bit of creasing in the front, nothing major. So this is kind of the next important part. You need to use hard squeegee pressure, especially in the areas where you had it coming away from the glass, because that will help push any of the dirt that's floating around in the water out with the water. If you kind of limp wrist this, what'll happen is you'll just bulldoze over the water, or bulldoze over the dirt and set it into your tint. If you push hard, lots of pressure, what it'll do is it'll push the dirt out with the water, because the dirt, you can just picture it kind of floating around inside that soapy water, and you just want to try to basically get everything out in one pass. You don't want this popping back up on the front or the back where you had it lifted, because what happens is if it lifts up, pulls dirt and water back in. If it lifts up, pulls dirt and water back in. So really hard squeegee pressure, and just get everything out that first pass. And then I'm just coming over, make sure that I didn't miss any little streaks or anything. One more along the felt, behind the felt right there. And then we'll hard card down the sides. And see what it looks like on the outside. What we're gonna look for is any dirt. See, there's increases. Let's see. So you can see, if you do it right, there's no creases down the sides. We got, can't tell, let's see. Got just a tiny, I don't know if you can see this on the video, just a tiny 1/4 inch of a crease right there in the front. A little bit of heat, dry outside or something, and you won't even notice that. You want to make sure that you shrink it really good, because you don't want, part of the reason why I like pulling the panels, pulling the sweeps, is if you get fingers that come up from the bottom, it's going to pull that dirt and felt up from the bottom too. When you go to lay the tint back down, the fingers back down, you'll have dirt in your fingers, dirt along the bottom. So you really got to make sure everything happens just right first time. But other than that, it is a way you can save some time, save a little bit of effort. Not my favorite, but sometimes just gotta do things a little different. But if you thought this was helpful, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Always trying to bring things that I find fun and interesting about tinting to you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.